I am the speaker who is going to introduce the speaker. So as a preface to that, the day after John and I spoke about getting someone to come and talk about this play, there was an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer entitled, "Zombies Aren't Part of This Reawakening. African Faiths Help Mend a Frayed Heritage." And it was written in the Philadelphia Inquirer by our guest speaker today, Constance Garcia Barrio. She is a freelance writer. She's written for the Inquirer, Christian Science Monitor, Pennsylvania Magazine, Persimmon Tree, Wild River, and others. She teaches Spanish at the Community College of Philadelphia, and for a long stretch of period was the professor at Westchester University as well. Her writings deal with black history in the United States and Hispanic countries. And this June, she's going to be initiated as a Yoruba princess. And if you're not a priestess. I'm sorry, that's a different, my ignorance, pardon my ignorance, a Yoruba priestess. Yoruba is one of the religions that came from Africa and influenced very strongly the people of the West Indies. So it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you Constance Barrio Garcia.
About the play and invite questions and your comments. Something that I hadn't noticed when I first read the play, the scenes progressively represent ancestral memories. The auction block, and then the little passage, and each one seems an invitation for the Emperor Jones to join in that heritage, and he seems to reject each one. Another thing I found interesting was the language. I think of my mother, who was a Virginia farm girl, and she was raised by my great-grandmother, who was born into slavery. And when she came to Philadelphia in the 1930s, she felt it was too much of a handicap to be a woman, to be black, and to have a Southern accent. And so she worked with a speech therapist for a couple of years until she got rid of that accent and was able to move toward the middle class. So language is a big deal. Language says who we are and where we come from. It's interesting that the Emperor Jones has a heavy, almost a caricature of black language. I was thinking about it and comparing the way the language in the play with, oh Lord, what's the poet's name? Who writes in, he was born in the 1870s, oh gosh, his name is slipping my mind. But he presents black language in another way. He has the language of slave times, but it's presented with a certain dignity. In this case, the Emperor Jones language marks him as someone who's working class and who aspires to more, but yet he stays within that language. So that's an interesting point to me. The scenes show ghosts and haunts, which on the one hand, the Emperor Jones is rejecting. These are just haunts, these have nothing to do with reality, but at the same time, he's afraid of them. I'll tell a little story. I think there are different ways in black culture we may see ghosts and haunts and ancestors in a different way. My mother was one of 3 sisters. Kalitha was the oldest, Cleoria was my mother, and Cora was the youngest, and they were very close. So Kalitha died in 1995, and then my mother died on a Thursday. That Thursday night, they couldn't get Cora, the only living sister, to stop talking. She was in a nursing home, and she suffered from dementia, just talking all night. And the attendant came, Cora, why are you doing that? And she says, leave me alone. I'm talking with my sisters. And so there's a spiritual connection, and I would say a different reality in some cases. As Black people, we may see things differently. So the Emperor Jones is rejecting that, but at the same time, he's very much influenced by these beliefs. Let's see, what else did I want to say? That there are folk tales that connect us as African people. I'm thinking of, in Southern Black folklore, there's the hairy man who steals children. And if you go to Ecuador and you're with Afro-Ecuadorians, there's the Tunda who does the same thing. She goes around and steals children. And in the islands, in the Caribbean, you find the same kinds of creatures, so that in rejecting the folklore and rejecting the stories, it's cutting the Emperor Jones off from a whole heritage. And so in the end, this is my interpretation, in the end, he is not connected to any heritage, and there's nothing to sustain him, so in the end, he dies. So that's my own interpretation of it. Could you please allow me a moment? This language issue is very dear to my heart. And it's language, and also my great-grandmother, who was born into slavery, I think, channeled this poem to me. And it's called Eat Dirt, because she was a farmer, and her whole life depended on dirt and the raising of crops and animals. So I'm going to cover my face, and when I take my hands away, you'll see an old Black person talking about the value of eating dirt. Say you never ate dirt. You're a plain fool. All the good things dirt got in it is full of grit. Now, if you can't use some, don't be looking at me like that. I know what I'm talking about. Now, there's sunshine in dirt, years on end of light in a mouthful, and dead folks is in dirt, just a talking and a dancing. You swallow some, and they'll tell you things. You'll get an old folks' mind and a young folks' heart. Help you step clear of trouble. And the mole's gone through dirt, so the dark won't feel strange to you no more. Don't be looking at me like that, making faces. Get your ears out your ass and listen to me. Dirt got God's tears in it. Now me, I eat dirt regular every other day. If dirt grows sweet corn and trees big as houses, just think what it'll do for you. Better eat you some dirt and see what it grows in you. Thank you. If there are any questions or any comments, I would welcome them.